Hey guys, welcome back to Coming Soon. This is the show we talk about all the films that are about to release in theaters and we rank our excitement level. Here to kick things off, I have the wonderful Christian Harloff.
Well, thank you very much. Happy to be here with the wonderful panel from last week. So much energy. Can't wait to do it again.
I don't know about so much energy. South by Southwest killed me. I'm still recovering. I feel like you need 2 weeks for every 1 week of a film festival. But I'm glad I can borrow your energy, mister.
Please.
The wonderful David Griffin, also returning.
Thank you for having me. I did not go on a vacation, so I am pumped. I have a lot of energy, and I'm excited to talk about a movie coming to AMC theaters near you.
Vacation. What's that in this industry? And the lovely Maude Garrett back as well.
Thank you so much for having me again. Let's talk some movies with excitement.
Let's do it. All right. So our fun little rating system again to start things off. 1, not really interested in it. 2, you're kind of curious about it, but probably not going to see it right away. 3, you're going to see it for sure. Number 4, you're going to see opening weekend because you're really excited about it. And 5, you're going to camp out for that baby because you are a diehard fan. So with that in mind, we're going to start with our first film, The Longest Ride. This film centers around the lives of a young couple who intertwine with a much older man as he reflects back on a lost love while he's trapped in an automobile crash. This is, you guessed it, based on a Nicholas Sparks novel. George Tillman Jr. directed this one, and it stars Britt Robertson and Scott Eastwood. So, lovely Maude, why don't we start with you on this? 1, not interested. 5, you're going to camp out for the Sparks classic. Where do you stand?
For the record, I'm a lady, but The Longest Ride is a mixed message delivering. It doesn't sound like a love story at all, if you catch my drift. But there is a cowboy involved. I love seeing fresh faces. I love like the new love story, but it is just... it stinks of Nicholas Sparks. And it's like, let's borrow the going between the older love story and then the young couple from The Notebook. It's like they're just trying to make another Notebook. And I think they've made about 7 movies since, and none of them have come close. The Notebook in itself is probably the only movie better than the book I've ever read. For this one, it's just same but different. It's the same kind of storyline, the same premise.
They all are, my dear.
That's it. So will I see it? I probably will have to, maybe for work, but I won't drag my feet to it. So I'm going to go 3. Yeah.
That's very generous of you.
Thank you. I'm going to... The guy's really cute. I love me some cowboy.
There you go. So you are the target audience. Christian?
I am camping out to let everyone know that I am not interested. I am absolutely not interested in this movie for the exact reason that Maude said. Nicholas Sparks is throwing stink bomb after stink bomb at you. But what this movie has for it that is the one saving grace that if I have to, again, see this for work, that I might leave satisfied is the fact that you have Britt Robertson, who's coming out in Tomorrowland, who I really like as an actress. Jack Huston's another one, up and coming from Boardwalk Empire to all these other movies that he's going to, Ben-Hur he's going to be in. So to watch him and to watch that talent, Alan Alda, how do you do wrong with Alan Alda? Nicholas Sparks will probably find a way, but the talent involved. But the reason that The Notebook worked, that I don't know if this one can work, is because they haven't had a director like Cassavetes yet that has done these movies. Cassavetes did something for The Notebook. You felt his stamp on it. Whether or not Tillman Jr. is the guy that's going to do that, I don't know. You're absolutely right, though. I see this trailer, and you didn't even tell me Nicholas Sparks had anything to do with it, and I know because it's the same device. They fall in love. There's a flashback. Oh, something tragic happens, and then there's a lady that's a ghost. Something silly is going to happen.
And there's usually like a dog or some sort of comedic relief animal.
There's a gimmick. There's always a gimmick. So I hope that it turns out to be The Notebook and not like the last 20 that he's done.
Mr. Griffin?
I'm with Christian. I have no interest in seeing this. It's given to a 1, but I think people are going to be interested in seeing this. And Britt Robinson, she's had an interesting career. She's just starting to blow up. She had this really small beginning on The Secret Circle on the CW. Then she went to Under the Dome on CBS. Now she's doing films. She's doing Tomorrowland. I don't know. I like the cast. Una Chaplin's in it. She's from Game of Thrones. I'm glad to see Game of Thrones, of course. Jack Huston from Boardwalk Empire. All these TV people just kind of just moving on up. But it's just beyond that. I don't know. There's just Nicholas Sparks. We just don't do it for him. Maybe I don't have a heart. Maybe I don't have a heart. Maybe I'm heartless. I don't know.
You're not a 14-year-old girl that wants to feel love for the first time.
Right.
I want to know what love is.
But I mean, to be fair with it, I would see it because of the cast. And Supergirl's in it. Melissa Benoist, am I butchering her name from Whiplash movie?
All these
Supergirl's
great
in it.
TV stars.
Yeah.
I am dancing between a not interested, negative town to maybe I'm curious 2 because my friend has seen it. She worked on the film, and she said, everyone is going to know these 2 stars' names after this because they're so spectacular. Nicholas Sparks, I talk about this a lot on Movie Talk, other shows. I hate the typical paint-by-numbers rom-com, and Nicholas Sparks, he is the king of that. I could tell you exactly what's going to happen in the film before it starts. Now, the reason, you're right, Cassavetes, Notebook, and also just, oh my goodness, the chemistry between Gosling and McAdams was amazing. Then you have James Marsden. I mean, they don't have a problem attracting good talent. And that's one thing I can say for the Sparks, but it's so predictable. And it's just like sometimes maybe you shouldn't make them end up together. That's more realistic in life. So, you know, I'm not a helpless romantic. I like films that are a little more quirky. There is no quirk to a Nicholas Spark film. There's nothing about it. So, you know, maybe you're saying Tillman Jr., maybe he has something special to add to it. Notebook was definitely the exception, not the rule. But most of these, I'm just like, I'm not, I guess I am the target audience, but it's just not working for me. But again, my friend who knows that I don't like rom-coms, I really don't, she's like, you're gonna like this one a lot. So that helped me get to a 2, but I can't go beyond that because you use Sparks. You do it every time.
Would you classify the Nicholas Sparks genre as rom-com or a com-drom?
Maybe all of the above.
Drom-rom. A drom-rom.
Yeah, because there is drama, but there always is that climax in rom-coms. It can't just be that. But yeah, you're right. There's always, but it's forced drama.
Right.
It's not like essential to the story. It's like, let's kill someone.
It turns out to be a comedy. Yeah. Right.
All right. Fun all around. Moving on to one of my most anticipated, Ex Machina. A young programmer, played by Domhnall Gleeson, is selected to participate in a breakthrough experiment orchestrated by a genius, played by Oscar Isaac, in artificial intelligence by evaluating the human qualities of a breathtaking female AI, played by Alicia Vikander. So this has been on my radar forever. Alex Garland wrote and directed this. This is actually his directorial debut, but he has been attached to such amazing other properties like this as 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Dread. I mean, he is no stranger to really good sci-fi dramas. Those are some of my favorite films right there. And I have seen this at South by, but before I saw that, I kept hearing because it released in the UK already. And everyone's just like, this film is so good. And I'm always a little, cautious because sci-fi is in my top 3 favorite genres, but most of the time they go for the easy route or they bring it home to really drive home that message, and it's so, again, predictable or cheesy, and 3/4 of the way it's just so good and tense and fun. And I love sci-fi because it brings up so many interesting questions about where we're headed with technological advancements, and can AI overtake humanity, and just all these questions that are always present. And it's terrifying how far we've come and how beautiful and exhilarating that is at the same time. So with all that in mind, with Garland, with the 3, Oscar Isaac's one of the best right now. No one touches him. So with all that in mind, I was a camp out kind of gal. I love everything about this movie. And I'm not going to tell you if it matches up with that. It does. So, David.
I am a 5. Camp out. See it. Amy Rose, you said sci-fi's in your top 3. Sci-fi is my favorite genre.
Nice.
Christian, I watched your review on Schmoes about Chappie, and I know you said you're disappointed in it. I want sci-fi to do well. I'm rooting for sci-fi. I want Blomkamp to succeed when he does the Alien reboot. The continuation of their Alien 2. I want to see, Ridley Scott do well in Prometheus too. I want these movies to succeed.
Chappie, though, did you like it?
No. Well, that's no. I'm a Blomkamp defender. I loved Elysium. District 9, of course, I loved it. So I really want this to do well. Even the title, Ex Machina or Deus Ex Machina, the full term, God from the Machine. That's awesome. God from the Machine. That's cool. I want this to succeed. So I'm happy. 5, camping out to go see it.
Christian?
I have seen this movie as well, and before I saw this movie, I was at a 4, and I was at opening weekend for sure. Because going off of David's point with right now, I think original sci-fi, it's not in trouble. It's been hit or miss because Interstellar did very well, regardless of what you thought about it. Interstellar, and I watched it again, and I liked it even more than I did the first time. The one that just came out with the Wachowskis, which was Jupiter Ascending. That thing, not so good. And then Chappie was some of the audience really did like that movie. Critics, not so much.
Yeah.
This is a movie that looks refreshing, and what it reminds me of, Maud, is THX 1138, which is Lucas's first film. It reminds me a lot of that film, just watching the trailer. And then to watch what Alex Garland does and watching him direct in his first you talk about a guy who knows this genre from things that he's written in the past. He certainly does. And then you combine both Donald Gleason and Oscar Isaac. Not only are they going to be in Star Wars together, but you see the chemistry. It's a small movie that you don't need it to be big. You don't need super effects. But I'll tell you what, even though I love those guys, it's this girl, Alicia Vikander. She steals everything she's doing. Every time, I cannot take my eyes off her, not just because she's beautiful, because she's such a good actress. She was the only saving grace in Seventh Son. It's the only reason I didn't leave that movie. And she is mesmerizing in this film without giving away too much. It's going from opening weekend to, if I had seen it, going to watch it again at camp out.
My dear?
Well, from what I've heard from this already, I am really impressed by the marketing that they're doing for the movie, South by Southwest. They actually employed Tinder for their marketing. So they made it her account, and it was her face.
Awesome.
And
It's
all
so
of her
good.
profiles was of Alicia's face. And of course, every guy's
Stunning.
like, swipe right, swipe, yes, yes, yes. And so she'd start a conversation with them. And they'd be like, hello, what are you up to? Oh, yeah, I'm in South by Southwest at the moment. I'm in Austin, Texas. And she would ask a series of questions. And if you weren't clued in, it's just a normal conversation with this gorgeous girl. And she wanted to know about humanity. She wanted to question where you're at with, like, the thinking of AI and computers. And by the end, she was like, all right, you've passed my test. You get to go to my Instagram page. Here it is. And then you realize it's a robot, or it's it's this artificial, and you're like, damn it, I fell for a chick that doesn't have a top of her head. So that alone, I'm like, solid 4. What I noticed in the trailer is that there were a few things that just resonated a little bit with me, that it was like Transcendence. Now, Transcendence on paper should have been great, wasn't. The end of that just went to a place where I could not follow that. I was like, yeesh. And I kind of feel like having those two people in the small room with an AI character, I was like, it feels familiar, but from what you guys are saying, it's nothing.
I think we
like
both can
this.
take that fear off the table.
So
Choose
that's
Transcendence.
Yeah, take it off the table.
Right. So for me, it just kind of had I was like, and if it's not, I'm in a 5.
Yeah.
I love sci-fi. It's that sort of thing where it's like, there's so many great concepts that aren't being executed. It's about time we've got one that does.
So guys, I know we can't spoil anything, but guys, a question. Like, I know the budget, I believe, is about under 15 million. So, but it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
The production
it's-
design, the
I was
effects,
curious about that.
amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's
Amazing.
under 15 because, like I said, it's a small movie to where it relies on the talent involved. Like Oscar Isaac is one of those guys. He's going to be a guy that you're going to be talked about, like the classic actors for a long time, in 10, 15 years from now. And you see little things that he does, and his relationship that he has with Donald Gleason, and they're back and forth. They're like cat and mouse. They're little games that they play. It's about watching what these guys do through dialogue, and it's a credit to Alex Garland's script. And it's a small movie. It is. You don't need the money probably went into designing her, and because the
She's
sets, it's
breathtaking.
an easy set. It's from what they put into sound and stuff of that nature. It's really probably her, because the special effects for what they use on her, you believe that she is this AI. I won't even say creature. I'll say AI.
AI.
being.
And it's very sharp. There's a lot of, really beautiful, incredible themes too, and just about sexuality and women and this and that. And like, there's so many cool themes in there. And Isaac, top of his form. And there's comedy in it. And you don't think from what you see that there's going to be, but it's used perfectly. But I really do like the Transcendence kind of comparison, because Wally Pfister, I was team Wally. I was like, everything he's done with Nolan. I mean, he's got an eye. He's going to be a great director. Sci-fi, Johnny Depp returning to form. Like, I was in. And so I get that, because Garland is also a first-time director. Everyone's praising his writing credits, but we don't know what he can do behind the lens. But he is no Wally Pfister. And I love you, Wally, but everyone has their strengths. Garland, give him a Star Wars spinoff, man.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
He's got hookups that can make some good introductions.
Yeah, let's do it. Coming to you now from Jedi Council. All right, guys, moving on to our next film, Desert Dancer. Afshin Ghaffarian risks everything to start a dance company amidst his home country of Iran's politically volatile climate and the nation's ban on dancing. Director Richard Raymond tackled this one. It stars the gorgeous Frida Pinto and Reese Ritchie. So, very interesting premise. We haven't seen a lot of this done before. Why don't we start with you, David?
I'm giving this a 2. I am curious. Some of these inspirational films, like the trailers inspire you. Sometimes they can bring a tear to your eye when you watch some of these trailers. Like, I love the kid. He says, like, I'm a citizen of Iran and I am a dancer. He declares that he wants to be a dancer, wants to start a dance troupe and get something in his country that is outlawed. and that's already inspiring. I mean, we take dancing. We can start dancing. You don't want to see that? I can start dancing right here, right now, if I want to.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want that, but I love Frida Pinto. I feel like you don't see enough of her.
Yeah.
After Slumdog, I feel like you see Dev Patel more. I mean, he's
everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's in the newsroom. He's on TVs and film. But I feel like with Frida Pinto, you don't see her enough. You had, Immortals.
Apes.
Yeah, not Immortals wasn't great for her, but I mean, I think she can do more, and I want to see her do more. I hope this is a good film, and not too. Some of these movies get a little too preachy, a little too on the nose, and I hope that's not one of them because I am curious about this film.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because a lot of the times in films, like I believe how powerful film is. I believe that it could really affect social change, and if it's done in an eloquent way. But if you try to force feed something down someone's throat, you lose an audience that way. So I'm curious as well. Maud, what do you think?
I'm gonna go 3. I'd like to see this. I think that everything was kind of given away in the trailer. When it is based on a true event and it is set to inspire, you kind of know where it's going and what's going to happen in it. But I like that it kind of feels a little bit more. It's like a Strictly Ballroom over, say, a Step Up or a Center Stage. So I like what they're doing with dance because I feel that lately it's like, let's do a movie based on dance. It's like, oh, here we go. It's going to be a lot of choreography. It's just going to be all about the moves and not about the story. And I love that this is really focusing on telling that story. And it is. It's kind of opening up our eyes a little bit more and taking us out of our comfort zone where it's like, I just danced really badly all weekend with you, in fact.
I would argue that you dance beautifully.
But it's like, all right, now that that's taken away from you, let's tell a story about it. And I think that, kind of combining those things had a little bit of a tear in the trailer. A little bit of a welling up this day. Don't know why this one didn't, but this one did. So 3 for me.
What do you mean to cut you off, Chris? I was just going to say real quick that I'd love that the fact that they're trying to defy, their government and reject, what they're preaching by going back to their roots, because the people that are in charge would say like, oh, we're trying to maintain a certain order and stability. It's like, but they're going to the desert to capture the essence of their dance. So I think that looks really cool.
Beautiful. Christian?
It's a 3 for me as well. Seeing it, and it reminded me of like Iranian Footloose. Is what it was. And the second he's like, dance is illegal. And I was like, where's Kevin Bacon? I wanted to see it. But the trailer overall, the reason I think that the difference is because I agree with you, Maud, as far as a lot of those dance movies, it's like someone's watching So You Think You Can Dance, and they talk to the producers, and the producers go, oh, they really like that person. Let's base a movie around that one choreographed scene. And it's fun for people who like dancing, but there's no substance to it. Now, when you take a movie that's based off a true story, off of this dancer, and the fact of all the limitations and restrictions that he had in his country, and to make this secret society, it sounds fascinating to me. And I don't know if there necessarily is everything in that trailer, because I think that they showed you the moment you expect to see. But in this true story, there are certainly going to be elements that we don't know, that we didn't know what this guy went through and his overall just view on life and how it changed from his passion to, or just a hobby into a passion into, a life. So I want to see. I had never heard of this movie before I watched the trailer, and now I definitely want to see it. So 3 out of 5 for me.
I'm also a 3 out of 5 seeing it. It looks beautiful. It looks like the cinematography is going to be great. And I will definitely say I don't like rom-coms just as much as my guilty pleasure are dance movies. Dancing, singing, and hugging is pretty much the 3 ways that I express myself the most. And my crazy hands, of course. But I love this. And it's conscious thought. It's also an important message. It's just about the struggle and through dance. And that's the one thing I love about art so much. Beyond language barriers, beyond politics, it connects people. It connects humanity. It makes you not feel alone in the universe. And something like this, if done well, could be really powerful. So
one last comment to make on that. I know we kind of bagged Step Up a little bit, but the first one was fantastic.
I loved it.
And I absolutely did.
Yeah.
There's like 19 now. But it showed that Channing Tatum was more than just an actor. Yes, he could act, but he had moves.
He had the it factor where you're like, yep, and not just the abs, the it factor.
Yeah.
Those movies are fun. Abs. People have fun with them for sure. I just think from going off your point before, there's a difference between those dance movies as where like you're not going to this just for the dance. You'll be mesmerized for the dance, but you're going for the story and the perseverance. As where in Step Up, it's like you're going for the numbers.
Just a good time to alone.
Step Up's like Furious 7, where you're going for exactly what you're going to expect. I'm going for ridiculous, cheesy lines and great dance moves, just as much as I'm going for action and ridiculous, cheesy lines. So it's about being aware of your audience, and this, I feel like it's more depth.
I just hope that Frida kind of has that Channing experience where she's like, I'm not just an actress. Look at my moves. Like, this is a chance that she could show that she's more than just an actress and a pretty face. We know that she's stunning. I want to see her moves.
Yeah. Let's do it, girl. All right, moving on to our last film, Noah Baumbach's latest, While We're Young. This one has been out, but it is expanding, so I want to make sure you guys are aware so you can catch it. Naomi Watts and Ben Stiller star as a middle-aged couple whose career and marriage are overturned when a disarming young couple, played by Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried, enter their lives. Of course, Baumbach directed other gems such as Frances Ha, The Squid and the Well, Greenberg, so many gems. He is a very talented filmmaker. He just has a real eye for relatable people and situations that you're like, I grew up with them. I know that person. That is me. Just he has that ability for you to see yourself in characters, or at least people you know. So I have seen this one. I'm going to go last. Christian, why don't we start with you?
I'll say that I'm curious, a 2 out of 5. And with Noah Baumbach, I agree with you that he does capture these characters well that he's done movies in. Personally, for me, I haven't liked many of the characters that he's done. Like I'm one of the few. I didn't really love Frances Ha. I know a lot of people loved that movie, and it wasn't because it wasn't a good movie. It was because I didn't like any of the characters. And I love Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig. I love them all, but I didn't care about them. But then Squid and the Whale is another thing to where it just didn't capture me the way it captured other people. This movie, I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan as well, too. So that's why my rating is going to be lower.
Two strikes.
But the trailer alone makes me go, okay, I like the team. I like when Ben Stiller plays these types of roles, when he's not the same shticky Ben Stiller character all the time. There's elements of him. And then to play off of Naomi Watts, to have those two go back and forth. And I like the premise of them trying to feel young, but there might be a motive behind it. And I love Adam Driver. You know, and it's not just because he's in Star Wars. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
But that I want to see what he does more of too, because he seems to be playing the same character.
The
also.
girl's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just seemed. I mean, even in the movie that I liked a little more than you did,
With Tina Fey.
Yeah, Tina
the
Fey.
funeral one.
What was it? It was like a. What
Can't
was
remember.
it?
Go Jason
Damn it.
Bateman and all. And anyway, I'm
gonna bother me.
Yeah,
This is where we were?
maybe I'm curious.
This is where we were.
He was great in What If too.
This is
Yeah.
the way we were. I don't
The
know.
way we-
I'll tell you
No,
in a
not
second.
the way we were. That's
No.
Barbara Streisand.
No, I don't know.
One of those ambiguous titles.
This is why we're here. I don't know.
He was good in What If too with Daniel Radcliffe. I thought
This
he
is
was
where I
good
leave
in that,
you.
too.
This is where I leave you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Gross.
Yeah,
I hate
so-
that stuff. It like bothers me.
So I'm curious, and I could wind up coming out of this movie and talking. Say, that was a great one. It has
Yeah.
the elements to be great, but because of past experiences with the talent involved, I'm curious.
David?
I thought about a curious with this, but I think I don't know. I think I might have to pass on this one. I think a 1. I agree with you, Christian. I think some of the cast members blend in well with each other. I really like. I like Ben Stiller. I love Adam Driver. You know, from Girls, now he's blowing up on the film. You know, doing Star Wars. I like that What If movie with Daniel Radcliffe. I just. He I don't want to group him in with Wes Anderson, but I don't like the characters that Wes Anderson creates.
Whoa.
I know.
Those are fighting
I know.
words.
I'm sorry. I know he's beloved. He's nominated for Oscars. He's huge. I get in that world. I'm like, this just isn't a world I want to explore. Every film I've seen of his, I don't want to explore the movie anymore.
love you, Wes.
I know. I'm sorry. I know there's fans of his out there. I know he's big time.
Good for you for holding strong.
Yeah, I just
It's
feel
not
like
your tea.
he has a certain world that he creates with this character, a certain type of characters, demographic especially, and I just can't get into that world, and I wish I could. But so, and he kind of, he wrote Mr. Fantastic Fox and Life Aquatic. And so if that is the same world he's creating here, I just don't think that's kind of the world I want to go into. But if you love the Wes Anderson movies, you love his other movies, Frances Ha, I think this would be a good one to see.
Is Wes Anderson writing this one?
No, I was saying
okay.
that Baumbach wrote Fantastic Fox,
Got
and he wrote.
Got it,
sorry,
got it.
yeah,
He's-
yeah,
they've
yeah,
collaborated.
They've collaborated, yeah.
And there's
yeah.
essence of words in this movie that
Yeah.
you can see already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to see it. I'm just wondering if it's going to be opening weekend or not. So I'm kind of really about this. I think it looks like these guys are having fun. These are great characters. It is about getting older and settling down in marriages and trying to, keep in touch with your youthful side. But Naomi Watts in this looks like she's having the time of her life. And I think she's on her game at the moment. She's in so many movies. I loved her in Birdman.
Oh, yeah.
She's in Insurgent. She did what she could with that role, but she's really owning motherhood and what it is to be sort of older. And I, for that alone, am really into it. I think she's bringing out a better side of Ben Stiller. Agree, he's a bit hit or miss with me. Sometimes I really think he does a great job and he can tap into that comedic side. Sometimes it's like putting a square peg in a round hole kind of deal. It's like, this is jarring. But I kind of really think that they're complementing each other. Adam Driver, yes, playing the same character here and there, that really quirky kind of, down and out guy who's got all the great one-lines, but he does a great job with it. I can see that in the trailer that's already happening, but I want to see what else he has to bring in the whole movie. Right. So yeah, I'm really down for this. I'd love to see it, and I probably may see it opening weekend if there isn't another better movie to watch that has me more interested. So I'm sitting at a 3.5. Seeing it, maybe opening weekend.
All right. I have seen it, but going into how I was feeling about my anticipation, definitely opening weekend. I love Baumbach. The way he doesn't touch you is the way he does, in the sense that I feel like I'm his target. It's about these late 20-something, like Greta Gerwig and Frances Ha. You know, they obviously collaborated many times. And just the sensibilities of how he can really write a woman like that, you know, trying to pursue her passion. And this is a very different story than he's been tackling. It's not as much, it's a coming of age story for adults, which you don't see a lot. And I was really excited about it because I just feel like as a filmmaker, he doesn't really have that many comparisons to Wes in terms of their style, because Wes has, it's hyper-realism. He has this quirky, crazy, colorful world, and Baumbach is very rooted in reality. There's nothing whimsical about his dialogues maybe a little kind of quirky, but that's about it. These are very real people, while I feel like Wes could be in a comic book strip. You know, it's like, it's a different energy. But I get it. They are indie-loved directors, and I drink the Kool-Aid for sure. So I do love the pairing. I'm with you on Ben Stiller. He's kind of hit or miss for me. Zoolander's going to be awesome. You do Blue still very well, buddy. But I'm just kind of over it. I'm just kind of over him, to be honest. But I don't think he's not without talent. He just has to have the right role, or, you know, he's a good director too. I just want him to do a little more gritty than the Ben Stiller thing.
Yeah, I like
him
more based in reality.
Yeah.
Because when he's in these over-the-top characters, you either like what he does or you start to get leave me alone, and I'm on the leave me alone there. But when I see him doing stuff like this, I get more. If this was a goofy character where he had like a thing on his head that spun around and he had some weird mustache, I'd be out. Yeah. But the fact that he's going back and forth, I'm
he's like transforming into a hipster, which I like.
Well, and that's the thing. I just want to say was one more thing, and I don't mean to get too. It's just I wish. We see so much of this demographic with Wes Anderson movies, and I think you get what I'm getting at, just the quirky, very like hipster, kind of very Caucasian, and I'm just a little tired of, I'd love to see a little bit some more diversity in this. It's not these guys' fault. It's not Wes Anderson's fault.
It is a very white film.
It's not their fault, and all these movies have those same kind of elements in them. I just wish we had more, writers, directors, producers, Asian, African American, any kind of race besides the 20-something white demographic. That's all I just like to say.
Really
so that's what I was trying to get at with the Wes Anderson movies. I'm just kind of tired of seeing that.
I get it. And on the note of Adam Driver, since we were talking about him, he does kind of play always that quirky kind of doofus, but like you still love him. But there's a film I urge you to see called Hungry Hearts, and it's kind of a Rosemary's Baby type film. It's very intense and it's very sad, but it's really well done. And he is 100% drama. There's no comedy. He's not relying on his usual tactics. I'm like, yeah, this guy can act. So definitely going into Star Wars.
Kylo Ren.
Woo!
The problem is,
excited.
I really like him being that.
I do too, but you need to show range.
Sure, but you wanted to switch it up a little bit too.
Yeah. So cool, guys. Well, we're going to leave you right here. Thanks for joining us for our second edition of Coming Soon. I'd like to thank the people on my panel, starting with Mr. Christian Harloff.
On Twitter, on Instagram, at Christian Harloff. And make sure you check me out, AMC Jedi Council, every Thursday. Hashtag AMC Jedi Council for any Star Wars questions you might have.
But are you a Sith or a Jedi?
I'm Sith all the way.
Our evil laughs. David Griffin.
I am on Twitter at GriffinDE. You can find my writings on ScreenRant.com.
Thank you for coming, hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
And the lovely Maud Garrett, where can people find you?
I'm on social medias as well, and I love to get my geek on over at Geek Bomb and Geek Bombshells. So if you want to talk nerdy to me, let's do it there.
You know I do, girl. And I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various social channels. And go ahead and subscribe, share. You know the deal. We really appreciate your support. And jump in those comments. Let us know if you agree with our ratings and just kind of your anticipation level for the 4 films we talked about. Until next week, we'll see you soon.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.